Well, my theory is that if he loses, there's still the time between the election and the time that the next president would take office. And during that time, my suspicion is that he will resign as president. He will allow Mike Pence to take over, and he will then go ahead and have Mike Pence pardon him. And it's a very, let's just say, it's a very Nixon type of event. And it was probably discussed between Roger Stone and President Trump at some point, that this is certainly one way to avoid any potential prison time.
All right, that's quite a projection there. Joining us now, former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci. Anthony, thanks so much for being with us. No one loves a conspiracy theory more than Allison Camerata.
No one.
This is quite an idea that Michael Cohen, who's got a new book out, is floating. But it gets to the idea that Michael would say that there's nothing the president won't do to get reelected, and then beyond that, there's nothing he won't do to protect his own hide.
Well, listen, I think all of that's clear. I just think that it's improbable that the vice president would take over the presidency in 8 weeks and then move to pardon President Trump. I'm not saying that President Trump wouldn't want that. I just don't know if the vice president, given his character, he would be willing to do all that. But listen, Michael's book, the cascade of information that we know about how the president feels about the military, the deaths of the coronavirus. What is astonishing to me, guys, is that he's still at about 40% in the polls. And I thought what was most interesting about Michael's interview last night is that he admitted that he was in a cult, and he was explaining how he deprogrammed himself from the cult. And I think it's a very big message for the rest of the American people to just stop and take measure of what's going on in our country, the havoc, the job losses, the mishandling of the coronavirus. And I do think that the president's going to get annihilated in November. I think this is going to be very similar to the Carter-Reagan situation, where it'll look tight towards the end, but then at the end of the day, people will look at it and say, hey, 4 more years of this, no way. I am not better off than I was 4 years ago.